Hey, welcome in everyone to DomTime. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're talking about Michael Douglas, STDs, and we have with us in studio, and we have someone on the line too, Dr. Lori Feldman-Winter, Division Head Adolescent Medicine and Professor of Pediatrics at Cooper, and Neil Zorin, who's a columnist for the Delco Times, talking about celebrities, diseases, calling our attention to this. So what was the impact when Michael Douglas did this? I thought he came across as really out of it in doing this, and sometimes celebrities butcher these things. They're difficult to do. What impact do you think we saw, that you saw?
I think it was a tremendously positive impact. I applaud Michael Douglas for even making the connection between throat cancer and HPV, and a virus and a disease that we always attributed only to cervical cancer. And so every day we would have to have this conversation about why boys, why vaccinate boys. And I applaud him for bringing the conversation forward. I think that everyone recognizes Michael Douglas, so his celebrity has really created
I saw him as a guy, and I think our mystery caller sees it the same way, is kind of blaming the wife, sharing public business in a bizarre kind of way. And I saw it, maybe I saw too much into it of what his life was like. Seemed to be a lot of partners, a lot of smoking, a lot of drinking, maybe other stuff. And does he know that this is exactly what did it versus those other things?
I'm sure his physicians actually told him that it was likely that his cancer was caused by the HPV type 16, which over 60% are caused by that virus. Okay. So I think he knew deep down. I think it was unfortunate that he waited so long to share that there was this relationship. So I actually used his example before he even came forward when I had conversations with teenagers.
Very good. With teenagers, okay.
Without him even coming forward and making the connection, because I thought that at least a celebrity would draw attention.
Okay, let's bring in our own Christine Flowers. I say our own because she's on my radio station, of course. You see her in Inside Story, Daily News. And she was on my Facebook page, Neil Zorin and Doctor. And Christine, what did you say about Michael Douglas?
Am I allowed to use the word that I wrote on your Facebook page?
No, I don't know. Our censors might have to bleep it. Neil, I might defer to you. I think it's a Yiddish expression here.
I would change it.
Yeah, so you saw him as I did, as classless, a bit of a bore. We'll clean it up, right?
I did. The word I used was rhymes with in a rut.
Right, there you go, yes.
Basically, Dom, you know, my father died of lung cancer, was a heavy smoker. My grandfather died of emphysema, was a heavy smoker. I respect what the doctor on your panel has to say about other causes for many of these diseases, but I do think that Michael Douglas tended to trivialize this in the way that he presented it as, although he backtracked later on and said, well, I'm not saying that I, contracted it through this particular practice, but that it could be contracted when the vast majority of cases of lung cancer and the type of cancer it appears that he had are caused by other either environmental factors or acts that you yourself
Christine,
in.
hold up. Doctor, do you agree with that? You see it different?
So what he had was throat cancer, which again, over 60% are in fact caused by the HPV, specifically type 16, the high-risk cancer-forming type of HPV. Now, it is true that this virus in and of itself is quite prevalent. Many people actually are exposed to the virus, but 90% of people that are exposed to the virus don't get sick, never get cancer. 10% that are exposed, in fact, do go on and get cancer. So what makes you among those 10%? Well, that's where the smoking and drinking comes in. So to get any kind of cancer, you really have sort of a two-bang theory. It's similar to having genetic risk factors for cancer. So you can have a genetic risk factor, and then you need something else to impair the immune system from being able to handle these little mini cancers that really arise in our body all the time. If we have a healthy immune system, we stay healthy.
Christine, celebrity watch for you. Any celebrity that you think called attention to some health factor, maybe you've even written about?
Well, most recently I do admire Angelina Jolie a great deal because I like the way that she approached this. Basically, it was after the fact, and she did it silently, and then came out with a very dignified op-ed in the New York Times.
That's the word, dignified. And I think that works, and not all celebrities can do that. I mean, a guy that's playing Liberace in this, I don't know, maybe that's a problem.
No, but that's exactly the point. I don't know whether Michael Douglas intended to even mention this, but he's in a press conference about Liberace, and he says it. And of course, he got home, and Catherine said, "What did you say? What did you do to me?"
More than that.
But at the same time, he exposed it. He brought out HPV in a way that made that important, and that overrides anything. It overrides how he did it, and it overrides why he did it. It overrides his saying it may have been, may not have been. There are a lot of factors. The point is, people are talking about HPV now, and people are talking about immunizing their children now, and that overrides anything, and there wasn't anything undignified about it. He did it conversationally. He did it as part of an interview.
I disagree, Dom, and I don't think, with all due respect to Mr. Zorin, I think that there's been a lot of ridicule. You look at your Facebook page. I look at many of the blogs that I've looked at. It may be good to bring attention to these factors, but you have to do it in a dignified manner. Because there was a lot of criticism and there was a lot of snarky comments about what impact this had on Catherine Zeta-Jones. And so I really do think that
I may have snarked there at one point. I have to admit, I'm on 4 hours a day.
Right. Ridicule by whom and why? What does it matter? If somebody ridicules me every minute for something I do and I believe in it, I don't care about the ridicule. I don't care what people think. Snarkiness is the word of the day. It doesn't matter anymore. If people criticize you, most people who criticize things are just having a knee-jerk reaction. And a lot of things are funny that aren't funny. You can find humor in everything. What he did was basically good. You don't like the way he did it, that's fine. But we're here today, and another show here at this station today talked about HPV. People are now thinking of immunizing their children. Whatever happened, how it happened, that is the value. And people can criticize and make fun of it all they want. People make fun of everything. They make fun. So
Neil, thank you very much. And Christine, thank you very much. Coming up here, we'll talk with the doctor and Dr. Zorin about Farrah Fawcett. And this is a tough one, a missed opportunity. I think, Doctor, you've been on this type of subject for quite a while. We'll continue here on DomTime.